Hey guys, what's up? Let's continue our drone profit series. In this video, I'm going to talk about your legal setup, insurance, and the Part 107. What are some basic setup things you need to make sure you're compliant before you start a drone business, or at least before you go out and fly a drone commercially yourself, for your clients, and for money? So there's basically three things you need to know when it comes to your setup. You need to make sure you have an LLC, so a limited liability corporation. Number two, you need to make sure that you have insurance that covers not only your business, but also hull insurance, which is your drone itself. And then number three is you need to pass the Part 107 FAA test. Basically, you just need to be able to have a license, and you have to pass a test in order to do that. It's well known that you have to pass that test and have compliance every 24 months to fly a drone commercially, and it's a pretty involved test, and we'll talk more about it, but basically those are the three main things. So let's start off with the LLC. For example, in Texas, you can apply for LLC at the Secretary of State. You do not require to use a third-party service. If those websites or those Secretary of State sites are a little bit cumbersome, you can always go to places like LegalZoom or other types of services that exist to help you just get your LLC filing set up quickly and easily. Those are typically paid services. I know that there's always a base fee based on wherever you apply for your LLC. And what LLC does basically is it creates a new person, a new fictitious entity that protects you in case something happens. Like if you're flying your drone over a wedding venue and then it lands on the cake or hits a car accidentally, or a big gust of wind comes, and you'd be surprised, things can happen really quickly and easily. That entity is what is liable rather than you as an individual. So you want to protect your individual assets or your other assets, so that's why you make a LLC. So that's number one. Make sure you file one. Once you have one, you can set up easily a business bank account. You can get an EIN number as well too. This makes it really easy to submit a W-9 when it comes to large commercial projects. I know I'm putting out some acronyms and numbers here, but all you need to know is if you have an LLC, you can then create a business bank account. When you have a business bank account, you can keep your income and expenses a lot more organized. And then you start to apply for things, and the EIN number is even free. It's called an employee identification number. All this is help you just the government track who you are, what you're doing, where you're at, and so that you can get approved for more vendors lists and larger projects in the future. Number two, let's talk about insurance. So insurance is important, especially if you do a lot of work. You're gonna need general liability insurance. So this is just a general coverage for your business. And what this does, it just helps you be compliant for most of the time large enterprise type customers. You're gonna have insurance. They're gonna wanna see a proof of insurance. You show what's called a COI, certificate of insurance. Really important because folks just wanna see that you're legit, you're insured. And actually we use recently Next Insurance. It's a really cheap, simple way to get general liability insurance. And it was great. It's all online. This is not a promo for them at all anyway. It's just a great service that we've used in the past. Really liked it and enjoyed it. Also too, there's something called hull insurance. Hull insurance is basically just insuring your drone. There's different types, like I think Skywatch, etc. You can Google it. There's all types of different drone insurance providers out there. Maybe we'll include some links and resources below this video as getting an LLC or getting insurance, etc. This is just something to know. You probably should get your drone insured, so if you crash it, which could happen, probably will, you're going to need to go ahead and get a new one, right? So you can file that claim for a new one for a variety of reasons. And then lastly, you need to pass an FAA Part 107 exam, okay? And the way you do this is you just find a testing facility, you schedule a time, you go out there, take the 70 or so question test. You got to get a 70 or above. And I don't recall the exact number of questions it has, but basically you have to pass this test in order to get your license in the mail. And once you have that Part 107 license, if you are ever approached on the street while you're flying commercially, which can happen a lot, you can show your license, and you can of course be legally commercially flying. If you don't have that license and you are commercially flying, you could get hit with a hefty fine, and you don't want to even broach that. You just want to cover your bases, right? You might as well take the test, pass the test, get the license in the mail so you can go fly commercially. And if you don't have that license, you need to find somebody who has one, because they're going to know what to do. They're going to study study the air maps or study the weather patterns and know all these things that they need to avoid. They're going to keep their drone below 400 feet. They're going to do all the little things correctly so that the commercial project goes well. There's no issues. If you are on the street or out somewhere flying a drone and you got make sure you have your Part 107 on you. Also, it's a great idea to have some type of reflectant gear that signifies, hey, I am a pilot here. I'm flying this thing commercially. I'm not just messing around, right? And if you ever get approached by any type of authority, always be as truthful as possible. I do recommend even having, if you have a contract to do something, you take it with you, scope of work, people can see it. But most importantly, the FFA Part 107 is such a big deal. You must pass that test. So we are developing a bunch of resources for our users and people at CloudPano that they can use to help them pass that test so that they can go out and profit more in this space. So those are the three main things you need to get started. Part 107 license, insurance, and of course, LLC where you're at. Now, what I always say is go get a customer first, then worry about all the setup. Getting your customers first, or getting somebody who says, yes, I'm down to pay for that thing, get you on the path to know how fast to move when it comes to these setups. It's always okay to subcontract out someone else who has that license at first until you start to get your own as well. And always do the right thing. I mean, it's just kind of you don't have to like go out and get a Part 107 to put your drone in the air. Of course you don't have to. You can do whatever you want. It's a free country, right? Well, the reality is that you just don't want to get in a place in your business ever where you're in a weird spot because you got a $500 fine or whatever it is because you didn't get the correct license in the right order, right steps. It's just a big pain in the butt, so don't do that. Okay, so do it the right way. So get your license, get insurance as well in case you hit something, and make sure you have an LLC set up so you can protect your personal assets. I hope this video is helpful. Let's get to the next one. I'm excited for you to, in the next videos, we're gonna talk about some pricing options and other things for the Drone Profit series. So I'm really excited. Make sure you stick here, subscribe below. And of course, if you haven't already, go check out cloudpano.com, CLOUDPANO.com. This is where drone providers create their visual sky virtual tours and hopefully charge lots of money and make a bunch of extra profit for their business because they now fly virtual tour drones. What a cool service. All right, see you there. Talk soon. I'll see you inside.